like really iconic phones that we all have.
Like the indestructible Nokia phone.
Welcome to Entertain Me, hosted by Roberto Capodieci, as we bridge the worlds of new and old technologies, meet incredible individuals, and delve into past visions of the future, between technology and life with Roberto Capodieci on Entertain Me. You're now listening to Old Tech.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive. We have something really exciting to dive into today.
Oh, yeah.
We're actually going to be talking about something brand new.
Okay.
It's actually not even out yet.
Wow.
It's launching in January 2025.
Okay.
And it's called Interchain.me.
Interchain.me.
Yeah. And it's the brainchild of Roberto Capodieci.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he is aiming to make this like amazing hub for everything tech,
Cool.
but especially focusing on blockchain and decentralized systems.
So kind of like a community.
Yeah.
For all these different things.
Yeah, so it's not even out yet, but we're going to be taking a sneak peek at it today.
Oh, this is exciting.
I know it's going to be awesome. And from what I've seen, he's got a really diverse lineup of content planned.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
So there's Cool Smart People, which is going to be a bunch of intimate interviews with these brilliant minds in all sorts of fields.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, and then there's Decentralizing AI, which I feel like is super timely given the AI boom.
Definitely seems very relevant right now.
Right.
It's on everyone's mind.
Exactly, and then there's Learn with Rob.
Yeah.
And this is where Roberto himself is going to be sharing his own learning journeys.
Oh, wow. So we get to go along with him.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That's a really unique concept.
Yeah, we get to basically be flies on the wall
Yeah.
as he's like exploring new concepts and skills.
Imagine the insights we could get from that.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that one.
Me too.
But okay, so before we get too lost in all the different awesome series that are going to be on Interchain.me,
Okay.
there's one in particular that we're going to be focusing on today,
Okay, what's that?
and it's called Old Tech.
Oh, tech.
I know.
Interesting.
It's a little bit different,
Yeah.
but I have a feeling this is going to be like a hidden gem.
I think so too. There's something about vintage gadgets and technologies that just draws you in.
Right.
It's like taking a trip down memory lane.
Exactly.
You know, remembering those like clunky computer, those like really iconic phones that we all have.
Like the indestructible Nokia phones.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Oh my God.
And like the gaming consoles that just blew our minds back in the day.
I know. For anyone who really appreciates the evolution of technology,
Yeah,
I feel like this is going to be like a masterclass.
absolutely.
Because old tech isn't just about nostalgia.
Right.
It's about understanding the roots of like everything that we use today.
It's about seeing how limitations in the past sparked innovation.
Oh, that's a really good point.
Like if you think about the rotary phone,
oh, yeah.
the physical act of dialing each number,
Yeah.
the clunky design, like all of those constraints force inventors to think differently,
Yeah.
which ultimately led to touch screens and the miniaturization of technology.
It's amazing how those limitations actually like breed creativity.
Yeah, you have to work around it.
You have to think outside the box.
Yeah.
And speaking of limitations, remember the Atari 2600
Oh yeah, how could I forget?
with that 8-bit processor
Yeah.
and the limited memory?
Yeah.
It's almost comical now.
It's like a joke.
I know, but it was groundbreaking at the time.
Right, it was huge.
And the introduction of cartridges
Game changer,
that completely revolutionized gaming.
for sure.
And it's amazing to think how all those early innovations paved the way for like the immersive gaming experiences that we have today.
I mean, we've come a long way.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
it really is. And I'm curious to see with old tech how they're going to tackle all these different areas of technology.
Yeah, me too.
Are they going to focus on a specific period?
Right.
Or are they going to kind of jump around
Yeah.
and highlight like pivotal moments in tech history?
Yeah, I think there's a real opportunity to dive deep
Yes.
and explore not just the gadgets themselves,
Yeah.
but the social and cultural impact they had.
Right. Like how did the introduction of personal computers change the way we work
Uh-huh.
or communicate
Yeah,
or even think?
that's a great point.
Like the way our brains work
Right.
has been impacted by the introduction of these technologies.
Absolutely.
Or like how did the rise of video game arcades shape social interactions and leisure activities?
Yeah, that's really interesting.
These are all the things that I'm hoping old tech will explore.
Me too. And I hope they go beyond just the big iconic inventions.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what about those lesser-known technologies?
Okay.
Those
Oh, yeah.
quirky niche gadgets that maybe weren't commercially successful
Right.
and still contributed to the evolution of technology.
Yeah, like those little footnotes in history
Exactly.
that maybe didn't get as much attention.
Right, but are still so important.
But they were still part of the process.
Yeah, and it's like being an archaeologist.
Yes, I love
So
that.
like unearthing these forgotten treasures.
Yes.
And piecing together the narrative of technological advancement.
That is such a great analogy.
It's fascinating.
It is, and let's not forget the human element.
Oh, of course not.
I'm hoping they interview people who were actually using these old tech devices back in the day,
Oh, yeah.
like hearing firsthand experiences.
Yeah.
Their struggles, their aha moments would bring a whole new dimension to the series.
It would make it so much more relatable.
It would.
Yeah.
Imagine hearing from someone who used the first Apple computer,
Wow.
or who was like a programmer working on those early gaming consoles. Like, those personal stories
Yeah.
make history come alive.
It's true. Those personal connections often spark the most insightful conversations.
Absolutely. And speaking of conversations,
Yeah.
I think Roberto's really keen on fostering a sense of community on interchain.me.
That's great.
Yeah, he really wants to encourage discussion and collaboration.
So it's not just a one-way street.
Exactly.
It's about engagement.
Yeah, it's not just about looking back at old tech with a sense of nostalgia.
Right.
It's about understanding how those past innovations inform the present and shape the future.
It's all connected.
It is.
Yeah.
And by examining like the successes and failures of past technologies, we can glean these valuable lessons for navigating the ever-evolving tech landscape that we have today.
We can learn from our mistakes
We can.
and our successes.
And our successes, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's really about connecting the dots and seeing how these seemingly disparate inventions are all part of this larger narrative
Right.
of human ingenuity and progress.
It's fascinating to see how it all comes together.
It is. And who knows, maybe old tech will even spark some new ideas.
Oh, that would be cool.
You know, they say that innovation is often about finding new ways to combine existing elements.
Right.
And what better place to find inspiration than in the rich history of technology?
Absolutely. It's like standing on the shoulders of giants.
Exists.
By understanding where we came from.
Yeah.
We can better chart a course for where we want to go.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get too carried away with all the possibilities of the future,
Okay.
let's zoom back in on interchain.me
Right.
and this old tech series. We know it's going to launch in January 2025,
Exciting.
which feels like both ages away
Yeah.
and just around the corner.
Yeah, it does.
But one thing's for sure, we will be keeping a very close eye on its development.
Absolutely. And for anyone listening who shares this passion for old tech, I have a feeling that interchain.me is going to be a must-visit destination.
Oh, yeah?
It's a chance to revisit those technologies that shaped our world, to learn from the past, and to connect with a community of like-minded individuals.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not just for like seasoned techies either.
right.
I think old tech has the potential to appeal to like a really broad audience, even
Yeah.
if you're not a hardcore tech enthusiast. There's something inherently fascinating about these relics of the past.
It's true. I think it taps into that universal human curiosity
Yeah.
about like where things came from, how they worked, and how we got to where we are today.
Yeah, it's like,
It's like peeking behind the curtain of progress
yeah, exactly.
and seeing all the gears turning.
It really is. Yeah.
And I think there's a real opportunity here to connect with younger generations
Oh, yeah.
who maybe take the technology we have today for granted.
They just expect it to work.
They do.
They don't even know.
Imagine showing a teenager a floppy disk.
Or a dial-up modem.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It would be a real eye-opener for them
They would not.
to see how far we've come in such a short amount of time.
They wouldn't even know what to do with it.
No.
That reminds me of a conversation I had with my niece recently.
Oh, yeah.
She was complaining about how slow her phone was.
Oh, teenagers.
And I showed her a picture of the computer I had growing up.
Oh, my gosh.
Her jaw literally dropped.
I bet.
She could not believe how big and clunky it was.
Yeah?
Let alone how slow it would have been to do even the simplest tasks.
It's amazing how quickly technology becomes obsolete.
It's true.
What's cutting edge today might be a museum piece in just a few years.
Right.
And that's another thing I'm excited to see how old tech handles.
Yeah. Will they focus on technologies that are truly ancient?
Ah.
Or will they explore more recent innovations that have already fallen by the wayside?
It's a good question. Like, where do you even draw the line between old tech and current tech?
Right.
Is it a matter of years or decades?
Or functionality?
Or functionality?
Yeah.
I guess it just depends on your perspective.
It really does.
Right. For someone who grew up in the 80s,
Yeah.
a cassette tape might feel like ancient history.
Oh.
But for someone younger, it might just seem like a quirky retro format.
Yeah, cool vintage thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of perspectives,
Okay.
I think that's one of the things that makes old tech so compelling.
What is it?
It's like an invitation to revisit the past through a different lens,
Uh-huh.
to appreciate the ingenuity and the resourcefulness of those who came before us,
Yeah.
and to maybe even challenge our own assumptions about what's possible.
It's true. We often forget how innovative people were back then
We do.
with the limited resources they had. It's quite impressive.
It is.
And I think Roberto's background makes him uniquely qualified to tackle this topic.
Oh, yeah.
He's been involved in the tech world for so long.
You've seen it all.
He's seen firsthand how technology has evolved and the impact it's had on society.
And he's still going.
I'm sure he has some incredible stories and insights to share.
I'm sure he does. And remember, this is just a preview
Right.
of what's to come when Interchain.me launches
Yeah.
in January 2025.
It's getting closer.
We're just scratching the surface here.
Yeah.
I have a feeling Roberto has a lot more surprises in store for us.
Oh, I have no doubt about that.
But in the meantime,
Yeah.
I think it's worth taking a moment to reflect on our own personal experiences
Okay. Yeah.
with old tech.
With old tech.
What gadgets or technologies do we remember fondly?
Ooh, that's a good question.
What devices shaped our childhoods
Yeah.
or sparked our interest in technology?
Ooh. I'm trying to think. I'm instantly transported back to my childhood bedroom filled with Lego creations.
Cassette tapes and my trusty Nintendo Entertainment System.
Oh, yeah, the classic.
Those were the days.
I bet.
For me, it was my dad's old record player.
Oh, wow.
The way the needle gently hit the vinyl,
Yeah.
the warm crackling sound,
Uh-huh.
it was pure magic.
It's funny how certain technologies evoke such strong emotional responses,
Isn't it?
even years later.
It's true.
It's amazing.
And that's the power of old tech.
Yeah.
It's not just about the gadgets themselves.
Right.
It's about the memories they hold, the stories they tell, and the connections they forge
Yeah.
across generations.
Exactly. It's a reminder that technology is more than just circuits and code. It's a reflection of our humanity, our
Yeah.
creativity,
Yeah.
and our ever-evolving relationship with the world around us.
It's a reflection of us.
It is.
You know, what's funny is we've been talking about this old tech and the upcoming launch of Interchain.me.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about how much our relationship with technology has changed.
It really does.
Even in the past, decade.
It's crazy.
What used to be cutting edge is now, vintage.
Almost overnight.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to be said for, taking a moment to appreciate those older technologies.
Yeah.
Those were the stepping stones that led us to where we are today.
Right.
It's like taking a moment to honor the ancestors of the digital age.
I love that analogy. And speaking of honoring the past,
Yeah.
Roberto has another series planned
Oh, really?
called Past Predictions.
Interesting.
And I think this ties in really nicely
Yeah.
with what we've been talking about.
How so?
Well, from what I gather, it's all about revisiting predictions about technology from years gone by,
Oh, wow.
seeing which ones hit the mark and which ones went wildly off course.
That sounds fascinating.
I'm really curious to see how people envisioned the future back then.
Yeah, me too.
It's a good reminder that predicting technological advancement,
It's nearly impossible.
it is.
Yeah.
Even the brightest minds can be surprised
Oh, absolutely.
by the twists and turns of innovation.
It's always changing.
Always. And there's another series that has me really intrigued.
Okay, what's that?
It's called Perspectives on the Metaverse.
Oh, wow.
So with all this hype around the metaverse,
Yeah.
it'll be really interesting to hear his take
Yeah.
on the potential
Yeah.
and the challenges that it faces.
For sure. The metaverse is such a complex and rapidly evolving concept.
It's a lot.
I think having a platform like Interchain.me
Yeah.
to explore different perspectives and cut through the noise will be invaluable.
I agree. And, we've been talking about the past.
Right.
But it's important to keep an eye on what's coming next.
Of course.
So there's a series called New Tech.
Makes sense.
And from what I've heard, this will cover all the latest breakthroughs, emerging trends, and the potential impact of these new technologies on our lives.
So it sounds like they really have a comprehensive lineup of content,
They do.
catering to a wide range of interests and expertise.
Yeah, I think Roberto's really passionate about making technology accessible and engaging for everyone,
I agree.
regardless of their background.
That's really important.
And I think that's one of the things that sets Interchain.me apart.
Yeah.
It's not just a platform for tech experts.
Right.
It's for anyone who's curious about technology and its impact on the world.
Absolutely. And with the launch coming up in January 2025,
I know it's going to be here before we know it.
I have a feeling Interchain.me is going to be a game changer
Yeah.
in the way we learn about, discuss, and engage with technology.
It's an exciting time to be a tech enthusiast.
It really is.
And for anyone listening who's feeling inspired to share their own tech journey,
Yeah.
or their love for old tech,
Yeah.
or maybe even their vision for the future,
That would be cool.
Interchain.me is actively seeking collaborators
Oh, wow.
and guests.
Cool.
So don't be shy.
Yeah, reach out.
Reach out. Let your voice be heard.
Be a part of it.
It's a chance to be part of something really special. It is. And contribute to a community that's passionate about exploring this ever-evolving landscape of technology.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Interchain.me
Yeah.
and the really captivating world of old tech,
Yeah.
we want to leave you with this.
Okay.
What piece of technology, past, present, or even future, sparks your curiosity and makes you want to dive deeper?
That's a great question.
Yeah, hold on to that thought.
Explore it.
Explore it and never stop learning.
Until next time, keep those minds engaged and those curiosity fires burning bright.
Roberto Capodieci on Entertain Me.